The Trimui Brick. This system might just be one of the best little retro consoles out on the market currently. It's affordable, it's pocketable, and it's built for those quick gaming sessions when you just want to kick back and pick up something and play. But here's the thing, the real magic isn't just in the hardware, it's in the games that we load onto it. So today I found 5 hidden retro gems that I think every retronaut should have in their collection and play at least once. Some of these games are quirky, some of them are beautiful, but all of them are absolutely perfect for this system. So let's get started. Starting off, in the number 5 spot is a game called Sleep Paradox for the GBA. Sleep Paradox is a Game Boy Advance homebrew originally submitted to the GBA Jam in 2024 by a couple creators that go by the names Static Linkage, Ray Aruga, and Niku4211. On the surface, it's a school mystery on a regular school day where nearly every student fell into a coma and these weird, strange dream monsters appear. You play as Federico, exploring corridors, fighting off creatures, and trying to wake up that which is sleeping. But what made this game stand out is the graphics. It uses this pseudo 3D effects where the dynamic room tilts to create this layered immersive feeling, something we rarely see in Game Boy Advance homebrew games. The visuals aren't just decoration either, they actively feed into this disorienting mystery. Also, it's built with speed. Rooms load fast, transitions feel tight, and there's a sense of momentum rather than being bogged down. The judges at the Jam praised its stylistic aesthetic and concept, though they did note that the combat could have used a little bit more polish. But I found this game to be quite enjoyable and fun. First, the exploration. As you play this character, you'll traverse broken school wings, hidden passages, shadowed halls. Because maps rotate or tilt, orientation does matter. You'll kind of lose your sense of direction, making discovery feel earned. Second, the combat is lean but satisfying, and it forces you to plan movement and attacks rather than just running around button mashing. Finally, the mystery draws you forward. You want to know why everyone's in this coma, who's behind these dream monsters, and what your role really is. This game nails that just one more room itch. If you're playing this on the Trimui Brick, expect a visual treat and a surprising amount of depth for a Jam submission. And before we get to the number 4 spot, I'm actually going to put a bonus game in the number 5th spot because of how similar it is, and it's also a little bit short, so I don't think it deserves a number outright. However, it's too good to pass up on. This game is called Getting Around It with Pheasant Birdie. It's as ridiculous as it sounds. It is an absolutely beautiful game that's also very mind-bending, and it shares a 3D aesthetic as the game I previously mentioned. You play as this little fox, and it's quite simple. On its face, it's just a platformer. But as soon as you hit the left shoulder button, suddenly you are getting a whole different game entirely because of the 3D aesthetic. Platforms change depending on what orientation you're looking at, and this really adds an element and depth to the platformer genre that I found quite interesting. You're basically just chasing this bird around, and each time you get to a point where you feel like you're stuck, you can use the orientation shift to reveal different platforms only by looking at it from a different angle, and I thought this was such a clever design. This is a game you don't want to pass up on. Definitely check it out. In the number 4 spot is a Pokemon ROM hack called Pokemon Odyssey. Now, I have mentioned other Pokemon ROM hacks in previous videos, but Pokemon Odyssey might be the most beautiful thus far. This game combines Pokemon narratives with elements from Etrian Odyssey and Made in Abyss. It's somewhat of a crossover project that reimagines how a Pokemon journey can be more of a dungeon crawler and mystery rather than just capturing and leveling. Many players are already praising the intro sequence, the writing, the art changes, and how the hack shifts expectations of what a Pokemon could be. And this isn't just new maps or new Pokemon, this is a complete rethinking of the game. It's narrative forward, heavy on exploration with custom dungeons and new mechanics. The dev team deliberately broke the formula to make something that feels fresh yet still Pokemon. Additionally, the community's reaction is very telling. People are kind of emotional about it. Many have said it's giving them that childhood magic again, and because of that, it stands out as a work of passion and not just a mod. Pokemon Odyssey will give you a really awesome Pokemon experience that's gonna challenge you. There are tougher encounters, there's more thought placed in dungeon layouts and resource management, but also the story is so much richer. Parts feel mysterious, with lore drops and surprises. And for fans of Pokemon, this game feels like a must play. And on the Trimui Brick, it becomes portable, breathing new life into a handheld journey you've always loved, but turned darker, deeper, and a bit more compelling. And if I could only choose one game to bring with me on my Trimui Brick, Pokemon Odyssey would be it. And if you're wondering how do you find this game, well, definitely check out my PokeROM hack video that I've done previously. Next up, in the number 3 spot, is a game that I'm pretty sure you may have already heard of, but just in case, it's called Kero Kero Cowboy on the Game Boy Color. Kero Kero Cowboy is a homebrew platformer released on the Game Boy Color, developed by Metagame Mike, and the concept is pretty funny. You're a frog named Kero who's a cowboy in a quirky side-scrolling platform world. It blends good sprite work, tight controls, and a sense of playful ambition. And what makes this game so amazing is how polished it feels for a homebrewed project. The platforming is responsive, levels are very well designed, and the art is expressive. You can actually see the love in every pixel. And because it's on the Game Boy Color, its limitations are clear, but it uses them smartly. From the backgrounds to the enemy designs to the controls, everything really feels elevated in this game. Not to mention, music is absolutely on point, and it is very addictive. If you're a platformer fan, this game is definitely one you're gonna want to check out. I'm leaving links to every game I mentioned in the description, and this game I paid for. There is a demo which you can try out, but I highly recommend supporting these developers, as there's a lot of passion and time that goes into these games. And after completing this game on the Trimui Brick, I'm actually replaying it, so I can highly recommend the $10 is worth the price of admission. Next up, in the number 2 spot, and I had a hard time putting this title in this spot, but I feel like it could have been number 1, but even still, this game is called Repugnant Bounty for the Game Boy Color. Repugnant Bounty is one of the most stunningly beautiful games I've ever seen on this system. You play as this character named Rosemary, an alien princess from the planet Nimola, who seeks justice on the evil monsters who killed her mother and her people. And the quest placed before you is to kill all 28 threats. Now, this game definitely falls in the Metrovania category. It looks kind of like Hollow Knight with an enemy countdown from Metroid 2. Now, this game is perfect for the Trimui Brick because of its bright screen. The game is pretty dark, so if you're playing this on original hardware, it might be tough to see without a decent backlight. However, with these easy controls that the Game Boy Color has, the Trimui Brick plays this game flawlessly. Now, this platformer is definitely challenging, and what really stands out is the background art, the sprite work, and most of all, the soundtrack. The soundtrack is just so good. You have to check this one out. This game blew me away. From the tight combat to the platforming, just everything about this game felt so polished. And this game was distributed by a company called Limited Run, and I believe the product is sold out. However, there are different ways to find this game. There is a demo available, and if you're still having trouble finding any of these games, I just recently opened up my membership program on my YouTube channel, and I believe the 2nd and 3rd tier, which are the higher tiers, I will personally help you out one-on-one. I think that's the 3rd tier, where if you're having any trouble finding anything, I'll be a resource that you can use, and I'll help you find any ROM out there that I can find. Do note, I am not distributing any content that would be not good. I'm just here to kind of help point you in the right direction. Wink, wink. Now let's get to the number 1 spot. In the number 1 spot is a Game Boy game called F-Zero Project. And F-Zero Project is another fan/homebrew reinterpretation or a tribute of the F-Zero Racing franchise. This game has such amazing artwork. I absolutely love the Game Boy aesthetic, so for me, this was just something that I gravitated toward. This game is a retelling of the origins of the Captain Falcon we all know and love. Before he was Captain Falcon, he was just a rookie cop. Following the arrest of a major crime lord, the city was overrun by biker boy gangsters. With rare, newfound powers of fire, he decides to take back his city. Unleash the Falcon Punch as you fight your way through crime-infested streets and you save your city. That was the explanation on the itch.io page, and once I read it, I knew I had to try this game, and I was not disappointed in the least. So don't expect any racing. This game is a little bit different, and it really delves deeper into all the fan fiction. You walk around as this character, and when you engage in battle or combat, a new mechanic pops up over your head where you have to match the buttons and press them at the right time. So it's almost like this mini QuickTime event to engage in combat, which makes each fight unique, and I found that to be really entertaining. And the overall presentation, the aesthetics, and the story just made this game something that I felt more people need to try out and know about it, because I didn't see much online. It didn't seem like many people have tried this game. So this game, to me, made the #1 spot. I really hope you guys enjoyed this list. Let me know in the comments if you've already heard of all these games and which system I should concentrate next on. I love spending time just kicking back and searching for hidden gems. I went camping last week, so I brought my Trimui Brick, and I had a decent amount of time to go through every single game that I have in my library, which is a lot. But these were the games that I found most interesting. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. And as I had mentioned previously, I finally opened up the membership program. There are 3 different tiers. I'm going to be uploading a ton of private content, new videos for members only. There's going to be behind the scenes. There's going to be custom theme work. If there's any system or custom firmware where you'd like to see some of my themes on, that's where you can make those requests, and I'll go ahead and do those for you guys. If you guys have any questions or you need help figuring out issues with your systems, I will be there to help you out. And lastly, there's gonna be some awesome merch that's for members only. So yeah, definitely check that out. And if you guys are interested in sticking around and checking out some of my other videos, definitely do that. Hit that like and subscribe button, help me out with the algorithm. And there's also this new feature where you can boost smaller creators like myself. I think that might be mobile only, but definitely check that out. I think it's somewhere in the description where you can help boost this video so the algorithm can pick up on it. Yeah, apart from that, thank you so much for being here and watching this video. I hope you stick around for the next one, and that video is coming up right now.